All righty. Ready?
Is it better?
I think so.
Okay. Are we live?
We're live.
We're live. Yay.
Welcome to this week's Bird Dog Chat with Ethan and Kat. I feel like
We're a little crooked. Other way. It's like looking in the mirror. You always go the opposite way. There you go. Got it. Thank you guys for tuning in with us for another week of Bird Dog Chat with Ethan and Kat.
Thanks, DT. I've been snacking on these nuts. That
So
was
have I.
a little Christmas.
So good. They're like a whole bunch of different options of pecans. So there's like cinnamon and sugar, and there's chocolate covered, and they are delicious and addicting. And if you crunch them in the microphone, I'll probably punch you. Just so that we are all aware of the consequences of Ethan's actions here. Are you just going to like let it turn to mush in your mouth by like soaking it or what? Chew carefully, buddy. But if you are new to tuning in with us, there is an order of operations, if you will. We will go through some check-ins here very shortly, as well as get your bingo cards. If you don't know how to get a bingo card, join patreon.com/Standing Stone Kennels. As little as $5 a month, you can get access to the link to get you a bingo card. And we play Bird Dog Bingo all night long. Basically, it's a bunch of idiosyncrasies that we do throughout the evening that you can mark your bingo card for. And tonight, drum roll please.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
I thought you were going to push one of those like buttons that did something. Well, none of those are drum rolls, so I think we need to program one or something. That'll work. We're giving away a Kuranda dog bed. So, I don't think it's not something to laugh about.
Oh, okay.
We're giving away a Kuranda dog bed. We thought it would be fun to do something close to the Christmas season and something that your dogs would really enjoy. So, our dogs love the Kuranda dog beds. We're going to be giving one of those away tonight. So, be checking your bingo cards for the weird stuff that we do so that you don't miss any of it and have an opportunity to win this evening. Then what we do is we roll into a topic of discussion. If you saw the topic for tonight, it's going to be talking about the Tesoro Ranch, the puppy hunt that we were just on, and we will have a few other little tidbits and announcements and things that we want to go over because that's usually how we roll. We've got some stuff that we want to talk to you guys about, and then we absolutely start getting to questions. So if you have a question that you want to ask this evening, go ahead and throw it up there. If you've got one that's just burning a hole in your pocket that you absolutely want answered, we give priority to super chats. But if you're asking a question, we're not getting into it right this second. That's just because we're going to go through these few housekeeping things and our topic of discussion first, and then roll into questions. So we make you stick around. That's the key here. Stick around the entire time. So let me start with the check-ins. I will read them because Ethan can't see the screen without squinting. Melanie, chronically early, Otsego, Minnesota. Well, we appreciate you being early in here almost every time we do one of these, I think. So we've got...
I have a woman-sized vodka water. It's a woman-sized because this is a Stanley Cup.
That's only the 30 ounce though, babe. You should have got real with it and grabbed my 40 ounce.
I thought that would look redonkulous.
Was a little extra. Yeah, well, it is a little extra. Latrobe, Pennsylvania, Colorado Springs, enjoying a pour of Blanton's. Enjoy.
Heyo.
Cheers this
Blanton's
evening.
Gold specifically. Did you buy that in Japan?
I wouldn't know about these things. Blackhawk, South Dakota. We've got Kansas City. Hey, Ian. Commerce City, Colorado. Hey, Justin and Kathleen from Atlanta, and Zeke, and soon to be a new puppy. Charles checking in from El Tesoro. Annie will be down with you very soon, like this weekend, with also a new puppy. Whoop, whoop.
Mm-hmm. Who needs a name yet? Hey,
we have lots of puppies
Charles,
that need names right now.
Put the picture up real quick.
If only, gosh. Is that something that we can like set up remotely for him to be able to do that?
Probably, but not consistently enough because there's evenings that he's probably working.
Well, I know, but the evenings that he could tune in, like 2 more between now and when he comes back. Okay, we've got San Antonio, Eastern Nebraska. Hey, Mark from New York. I saw some cool stuff that you were posting on Rolling with the Stones with Sierra. That's awesome. We have, hey, Miss Kelly from New Jersey.
And by the way, I always have access to the buttons. I just have good self-control and don't push them very often. Because I don't know what they do.
Those aren't the only buttons he's talking about. Watching in Wisconsin, Southern California, Eastern Colorado. We've got Ethan. Yeah, he should probably be sitting where I'm sitting, and I should be on the control panel side, if we're being honest. Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin. I know Aaron isn't here yet, so maybe someone else get bingo. But Elijah is the other one that always gets bingos. So, and I saw was tuned in tonight. So you got your work cut out for you guys if you want to win a bingo tonight. Somebody's already got like half a bingo. Just kidding. Not yet.
Pretty close.
Dayton, Nevada. We've got, why does it do that? It makes it so hard to follow stuff. North Carolina. DeMott, Indiana, Southern California, Aubrey, Texas, Pasco, Washington. Just got a GSP. Whoop, whoop. Where you from? Tell us where you're at. We've got Northern Iowa, Myers, Florida, New Rochelle, New York. Cool. I didn't know that there was new places in New York, but I guess beats old places in New York.
It might.
Yucaipa, California. I probably butchered that, but I gave it my best. And Louisville, Ohio. Awesome. Thank you guys for checking in. We always love to see where everyone's at. I didn't see a single international check-in yet, so we'll wait for one of those. But we usually have some people checking in from Canada, Australia, places like that. We'll see if anybody joins us tonight. So, any announcements that you want to make or things that you want to specifically talk about before we get into the Tesoro Ranch trip?
No.
But there's so much to talk about.
All right, roll with it.
Oh, where do we start? Well, let's rewind a little bit. I don't think we've actually talked about the fact that we had 2 puppies. Count them 2. And when I say puppies, I mean under a year old that recently had to go to K-State on the exact same day.
For not the same reason.
For not the same reason. And, as luck will have it, what's the old saying? What's the saying? If it wasn't for bad luck, we'd have no luck type of thing, which isn't exactly true, but we have been unfortunate enough to have a few dogs over the years with foreign body infections, and everyone's always like, oh my gosh, you guys must be like in a really bad area, or you just like, how common are these foreign body infections, these, grass-ons? And there's a couple factors that you have to think about. First of all, this has been over the course of years that we've dealt with foreign body infections.
15 years.
And we keep bringing them up to help educate people. Second of all, we own a lot of dogs, and we have very high exposure in the sense that we are constantly out training. We are constantly out hunting, much, 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 much more than the average Joe. So our exposure rate and risk is definitely higher than most people's.
And we've had 5 total.
Maybe, and 5 thoracotomies. There's been a few other places, a foreign body pops up on a side or something here and there, but nothing major like what we're talking about with Ryder, which he actually was running in the field like a wild man. Ethan and Isaac were out there training him, and he was out pointing birds, and he looked like $1,000,000. And the very next day, he was not acting himself. He was lethargic. He looked up hunched up, wasn't feeling well, had a temperature. So the next morning we were like, K-State. classic signs of foreign body type of infection, something like that going on. And K-State's our go-to for anything major. And then Hawk, he had actually been struggling for a little while, just seemed really uncomfortable. His tail was really tucked. He seemed very stiff and painful in his neck. You would try and kind of manipulate him a little bit to try and move him and get some movement, and he would be painful. He never really lost appetite. He was eating pretty well, but he was definitely uncomfortable. He would try and get his tail up and wag because he's an exuberant puppy, and he was like, yeah, that's not happening. That doesn't feel good. He went to the local vet a couple times. We did some carprofen and things like that for anti-inflammatory and pain relief, and nothing was improving. It was actually getting worse. So we're like, okay, Ryder's going to K-State, Hawk's going to K-State. And Ryder actually had a foreign body infection, and one of his lobes of his lungs adhered to his chest wall, and then that lung, I don't want to say ruptured because that sounds very bad, and it's not like it was good, but basically that place where it adhered pulled apart, and then there was air leaking into his chest cavity, which then was compressing the other lobes of his lungs, which was making his breathing exceptionally labored. So that was one of the reasons that he drastically changed more than most of the dogs that we've dealt with so quickly, is because of that air compressing his lungs and making him just feel that poorly. So it was very good that he got in when he got in. But he's also the dog that has bounced back and was released from K-State the fastest. Usually they're there for like almost a week.
They tried to send him home the next day.
I know, and we're like, we
can't
can't
make
get
it
back the next
there
day,
today.
actually.
I could
and that
make
seems,
it tomorrow morning.
And that seems really fast. Can we give it 24 hours?
Mm-hmm.
But what they typically...
Usually they stay 7 to 10 days.
Yeah, like Hex was one of the longest dogs that we've had at K-State. And the reasoning for why they're there for longer amounts of time, shorter amounts of time, and things like that is it has to do with the chest tube a lot of times that they have in their chest cavity. And what they're looking for is either air to not be coming off that chest tube, but also fluid. They're looking for the inflammation and the fluid to completely plateau. And that's when they know that they can pull that chest tube, because they can't leave K-State. They can't leave the emergency hospital with a chest tube still inside their chest, installed, whatever the word is. Not installed. I know that's like software or something, but
integrated.
No, definitely not that either. Basically, they have to pull the chest tube before they can come home. So Ryder was able to have his pulled very quickly. We've pulled his staples that are down his chest suture.
There were 32 of them.
I think got to pull him and got to count. He's healing really well. He's getting a little more anxious and a little more worked up in his space because he's got to be on 8 weeks now of activity restriction.
What is he at now? 3?
I'd have to double check on the calendar, but we've still got a ways ahead of us. But he's doing really well. He's recovering really well. Should have a full recovery. And we did get to see the seeds that were pulled out of his chest cavity, and it was Indian grass. So that's what we were able to see that came off of out of his chest from a foreign body infection standpoint. So now let's talk about Hawk briefly, because like we said, he didn't go to K-State for the same thing. It was not a foreign body infection. And Ethan and I, before we even sent him to K-State, we kept going, it seems like he's got meningitis. This seems like he has meningitis. Do we have a ton of experience with meningitis? Absolutely not. We had one friend years ago, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, that their dog got meningitis. But I believe it was bacterial meningitis. So
it was bad.
Yeah, and bad. Meningitis is not good. There are 3 kinds. There's bacterial meningitis, there's viral meningitis, and then there's basically like
freak of nature meningitis.
Yeah. What do they call it? It's steroid responsive meningitis. So in essence, it's a lot of inflammation around the spinal cord.
Steroid responsive autoimmune meningitis.
And basically the body is fighting itself. It's not something that is common, any of those forms of meningitis, but the steroid responsive autoimmune meningitis is the best prognosis, basically, because it responds to steroids. The other kinds is not always a good prognosis, so we were lucky that it was steroid responsive, and he has bounced back a ton. He looks great. He's still on the steroids because it's very high doses of steroids, and the steroids have to be weaned off gradually. So he's not to the completion of his protocol with steroids, but he is a completely different dog than when he was in pain and stiff and sore. And like I said, this is not something that we have a ton of experience with. We just looked at the symptoms and went, wow, this is what this seems like. We brought him there. They were like, absolutely, no, that can't be this. He's a hunting dog. It's probably got to be another foreign body infection. And we're like, well, okay, let's go through some of those tests and differentials. And
Sorry, it's SRMA, which is steroid responsive meningitis arteritis.
Yeah, it's not autoimmune necessarily.
It's not. It's arteritis, which says is immune mediated or autoimmune condition where inflammation occurs in the blood vessels in the lining of the nervous system, which is why it's meningitis in the menges.
But recovering
said that wrong.
Recovering very well. Just goes to show, again, advocate for your dog. If things don't seem right, look for more answers. Don't just sit there and go, well, what the vet said it should be and what they've treated him for should be helping, and it's not. Let's just not wait and see how much worse it gets. So both of them doing well, but unfortunately, 2 trips to K-State on the same day. Then I would say the only other big-ish news is we just got a little English Cocker puppy. He is so stinking cute. He does not actually have a name yet. He's going to be 8 weeks old in a day or something like that. So we got him just a couple days early from 8 weeks old, which we, if you get a short hair puppy from us, they go home at 8 weeks old. But oh my gosh, he's the cutest. So cute.
I don't know why I covered the mic.
Because you're crunching your pecans, maybe.
No, because I was going to cover the mic so it didn't grab my face. No, but that's really crazy. It did a really good job.
Really good job.
Why did it almost dim the background or something?
A new setting or something.
I don't think so, but
isn't
that so cute? There's another picture. You got a picture too, didn't you?
Yeah, the one that Autumn sent me was adorable. Plus, I've got a picture of me with him, things like that you take. But he is a very sweet little puppy. Here, I don't know. Can you see it on my phone too? Isn't he so cute?
Yeah, I'll do it better.
Do it better. But he needs a name. So if you guys have name suggestions, absolutely throw them up there. We are...
so far, our little boy, Aiden,
thinks he should be called Patrick.
Because he has a patch.
Because he has patches. Mm-hmm. I'm like, not a bad correlation there, buddy.
And then, after getting to play with him for the evening, he said, yeah, he kind of is a little bitey.
Because
so I think we could call him Bite-Trick.
Bite-Trick. Sorry.
I said, solid names, bro. Patrick.
Coming from the mind of a 5-year-old. Mm-hmm. So we also have, which I think we talked about, another new short hair puppy, Ariel. She's 12 weeks old now. She's from Flight Level GSPs. I'm actually wearing their shirt. Lee brought me one of these really cool shirts. Can you see it? Where do I move my microphone? There you go. Cool shirts. And I had the opportunity because he came out here hunting just this last week. And while he was stopping by and headed through, I said, you should stop and do a podcast with me. And so we got an opportunity to chat a whole bunch, not just about the podcast, but got to catch up and talk. Great guy. And so there'll be a podcast coming out really soon about role reversals, in essence. I got to be put in the hot seat and try and pick a puppy that isn't from my own litter and my own breeding. So we went through that process, and that was a really, really fun podcast. After we finished that podcast, Lee was actually like, oh my gosh, that was so intense. I'm like, what? It was so much fun. It was a great conversation. And he's like, I felt like it was a combination between an interview and a quiz. And I'm like, okay, well, you did great. So 100%. Kelly, you've got Ariel's sister Paige. That's awesome. I know that we were talking. So these are out of Shooter. So Pearl was bred to Shooter. Pearl is a Vex puppy, and she was bred to Shooter via artificial insemination. And I had quite a few people that reached out to me that had had Shooter puppies in the past and were looking for their next puppy. And timing just worked out perfectly that this litter was due or was on the ground. And I sent a whole bunch of people Lee's way, which you guys were included, and a couple other puppy buyers from Lee were people that had gotten Shooter puppies from us in the past. So it was a really cool thing that I think Lee said like 6 of the 7 people had Shooter puppies or something like that previously. So really cool. So I hope that she is doing really well for you. Hey, we got an Ontario check-in, international check-in. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, Shooter trigger puppy. Ooh.
So definitely Shooter Trigger and Shooter Pearl are going to be different personalities, even though they both are.
Probably not.
They'll have different personalities. Okay. Calbit, Lincolnshire, England. Another international check-in.
Wait a second. Isn't it the middle of the night, Richard Price? What is the current time?
Ethan's going to Google that real quick for us.
Hey, Siri, what's the current time in England? 1:52 a.m. Closing down the bars?
Who knows? Maybe they're open later there. We don't know. Or they close earlier. We don't know. But
Cubbit?
I said Calbit. Oh, Cubbit. I was really not close, but I tried. I gave it a good effort. Northern Idaho, we got more check-ins. That's awesome. So we've got puppies, and more puppies because the Mako Arlo litter is going home this Saturday, and there is puppies being kept out of that. And then we've got the Quest puppies that the Quest Chief litter is going home in January. There's probably going to be puppies kept out of that. Hey, guys, the Quest and Chief litter goes home in what? 2024. So that means I have Ethan's approval to keep one. And when I've said we've been keeping puppies, like Ariel and Ryder and Hawk and this new little unnamed cocker puppy, by we, I mean the Standing Stone team. Because it takes a village, guys. And we have, had our plates full. Especially with the kiddos and stuff. So we have had a great team effort raising these puppies for the El Tesoro program, as well as for ourselves and things like that. And this will give us the opportunity to keep a puppy in 2024 that doesn't break any rules.
We're keeping which puppy?
One of
from which litter?
The Quest Chief puppies.
Another dog that won't like me.
Well, we were hunting today, and Ethan had an e-collar on Nyx, and he hunted with me the whole day. Pretty much. It was awesome. Okay, let's talk about the El Tesoro Ranch and the puppy hunt that we went down for just recently, because that was a lot of fun. I haven't been down to the El Tesoro Ranch since we got invited down the first time to kind of tour the ranch and kind of consult. There we go, not consult. Consult on the dog program.
Put the wrong emphasis
on the wrong syllable. Yeah, I know. But we got to consult on the quail habitat. We got to consult on the dog program and what it would take to put, quail guiding dog program together. And that was a while ago. And I hadn't been down there since then. Just too many things. Ethan's been down quite a bit. Charles is down there, of course. So this was awesome. I got to go down and get to hunt behind a bunch of the dogs, which was really, really cool. No more pecans. Either they're going to stop crunching into the microphone. You haven't hardly said like any words because all you've been doing is munching.
They're good. Very good.
Like, say something about what we're talking about. All I have done is had like a cat monologue tonight.
That's a good monologue, though.
I'm sure that there will be somebody that has to comment like, just let him talk already. And I'll be like, I've been trying.
So you haven't been to the ranch since way back when. What did you think?
It was amazing. So hunting those short hairs steady and seeing the little cockers do their little cocker things.
Not the puppies, by the way.
Yeah, is awesome. The puppies, also, there are so many moving parts to a hunt like that. So you've got your gunners out there. You've got your guides that are handling the dogs out there, which was Charles and Zach. We actually were down there to get some content. So we also had a camera guy or two because Ethan was helping as well, and Dustin. And then we had 3 shooters, an observer. There was like so many people in the field, which was actually a little nerve-wracking because the quail kind of fly very erratically. The cockers are getting them flushed really quickly, and so you're having to think about a lot of pieces. So this gave me a whole new understanding and perspective when people talk and have asked and requested that we train their dogs to be steadied, at least shot, from a safety standpoint. And I was always like, we hunt pheasants. I don't really feel like they need to be steadied a shot from a safety standpoint 99.9% of the time. And I'm like, well, just don't take unsafe shots. I'm like, well, basically, when you're hunting quail, a lot of the shots are questionable at times where you're like, okay, are these quail going to get up enough? Things like that. And so knowing that your dogs are steadier definitely gives you a little more comfort, confidence to focus on where other people are at in the field and things like that. So that was a new perspective that I was able to have in that environment with the quail and the cockers and so many people in the field.
Just say it. You are impressed with Charles' ability to handle the dogs and the situation that is quail hunting.
Yes, I have like I said, a completely new appreciation of quail hunting, dogs like that in environments like that. Both Charles and Zach are doing a really nice job handling the dogs. Zach's got the reins on the cocker and Charles has the reins on the short hairs, and it's a really cool team effort. We put a little bit of content together already and kind of posted, I think, a reel or something like that. Which was so cool. Trix, by the way, is very impressive. Very impressive. And little Spike.
You know how they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree?
Hex
that
is,
one
impressing.
hit. Well, I'm saying the Trix apple hit the ground and like rolled into the next county because that is not the same dog as her mother. I love Questy Pup, but she is not.
Trix
like
and Quest.
Trix is. No.
They are not the same. They are different in their own ways.
Uh-huh. Yeah, very much
but
so.
But Quest is very awesome as well.
She's a great dog.
Trix has
they
a
are not
wow
the
factor
same.
For sure. Trix has a wow factor. But anyway, so Trix was in this content, this piece that was put as a reel on Instagram. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, you should. Go follow us now. Like our page, follow, whatever it is. And then Spike, one of the new English cockers, which he is so adorable and so cute. He's going in, flushing in front, and then he got to make the retrieve. And a couple of the comments were,
Yo, you want to see something cool? No? Well, I'm going to do it anyway.
Replay.
Yo, you want to see something cool? No? Well, I'm going to do it anyway.
So, like I said, go actually watch the reel on Instagram. You'll get the full effect instead of like getting to watch half of it and then reversing and watching the first half of it. So, not again.
No. That's just it's just a picture of the the
Of
tricks in
tricks,
it.
yeah.
She's just perfect. I
Yeah.
call her Mary Poppins for short. Practically perfect in every way.
But where was I going with that?
You were just talking
Oh, no. People were commenting on the reel, like, oh, my short hairs wouldn't hunt like that, or I wouldn't want my short hairs to have to hunt like that because they wouldn't be happy not getting any of their retrieves. Well, they get plenty of retrieves. Yes, they are standing steady, and the cocker, at this point, the cockers are not steady in the El Tesoro program. That is an ultimate goal for them to be steady through this process as well. But usually not just one quail is being shot in these covey flushes. So the cocker is flushing. They see the first bird that's shot. They're tearing out after that. And then boom, 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 2, 3, 4 more birds are getting dropped. And those short hairs that are standing steady and actually watching this all happen are doing a much better job actually marking those additional birds because they're just standing and watching steadily. And then you can send them for those retrieves as well. So they are not missing out on the retrieves by any means. Perspective bingo.
Uh-oh. Who said that?
I don't know. It just said that. Kelly said it. She's the moderator.
Oh. Me and Saul.
I don't see any full-on cards that are filled bingo-wise.
Joe, you only have 4 marks on your card.
Where is it?
It's
No.
this one.
Is there that? No, click back. Me and Saul. I don't think we've got one yet. Go back. Not there. I'm not seeing it yet.
Not yet.
Well, what's your bingo card number then? Because it's not showing up as you got it.
There are none yet.
Okay. Moving on. We'll come back to that. Anyway, it was an amazing trip. The weather was great. The dog work was great. The conditions were great to get a lot of content filmed and pictures taken. Wasn't super harsh lighting, so that's really nice for that kind of content capturing. What else? We got to shoot clays, which I love shooting clays. There's just so much to do on the ranch. It's beautiful. The hospitality is amazing. No idea, sorry. That's okay. Get another bingo card. See if you can catch up. Anything else to add?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So we went down there to run the puppies, which we did, and all of the young dogs for the program got the opportunity to hunt quail, and basically at this point they're woe trained and break at wing. But we put it together so that they got the opportunity to kind of experience the whole thing. When they locked up on point, I just woed them and I walked in and held them, and we let cockers flush.
Kind of like you do when you're running senior dogs.
Yeah.
And you've got a senior dog backing in an AKC test. You go, once they have backed, you go in and you hold them by the collar so that when the other dog gets to work their bird, the senior dog, who is only studied a shot, is not breaking and things like that. So it also made it a little bit safer too, having those puppies
absolutely
collared during the flushing sequences. So
okay,
let's look.
I looked. That's Joe's card. Joe, you didn't mark all of them or your thing's broken. Can you send a screenshot or something? Because your card is marked with only 4 little X's on it. That's what I'm saying.
Right here, this one.
That one.
Maybe he has an old card? Because none of these were talked about. I don't know.
That's the card number that he said right here. And now you can add bingo false alarm to your card, Joe. That was probably part of your plan.
Oh, sneaky. I
don't know.
I didn't even know that Kelly had put that on the cards, a bingo false alarm.
It's a great one.
It's a great one. No, I'm not not denying it.
Mm-hmm. But it's also a dirty one because people will be like, bingo. Oh, yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if that's your winning bingo, there's gonna be penalties.
Oof.
Okay, let's roll through. Anything else that you want to mention about the El Tesoro puppy stuff?
It was fun. We actually got the opportunity to hunt half of them the last couple days. So we did a hunt with DT to finish out Hex's series. And he asked about hunting Kansas or what could we do. And we wanted the opportunity to try, there's a place down the road called Upland Inn. And if you go to their website, they talk about all of the habitat work that they do and surrogating birds and things like that. So I thought we'd give it a try. It was a really cool experience.
The dogs got a lot of opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
There was pointing, there was backing, there was tracking wounded birds, there was tracking running birds, lots of retrieving opportunities. So it was really good. Lots of shooting opportunities, which was fun as well.
Yep, and the other half of them are hunting in Iowa currently, and they have
a full guiding season ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did want to mention one other thing. So I hadn't seen the ranch and the facility that they put up for our dogs down in Texas because the last time I was there, it was just for the consulting and touring of the ranch and the lodge and things like that. And when we had the opportunity to talk about, what would be needed, how many dogs, how many, cockers, things like that, we also talked about the facility that would be needed down there. And it is amazing. It is state of the art. It is very, very high quality, just like the facility here with, it actually has indoor and outdoor runs where we can let the dogs out through guillotine doors because all of the dogs that are going down there are mature and have excellent bladder control and things like that. So it allows us to pop them out while cleaning happens inside and then bring them back in a very controlled manner, as well as they've got a big free fenced in area that's all grass and shade trees. They made it so nice and it's so clean, and the dogs are so calm and quiet in there. I love it. And Charles did an amazing thing, which I really thought was cool. He took all of the pictures of the El Tesoro dogs because we had done a back in, I don't even remember. Everything was green and beautiful. So summertime, we took headshots, kind of like school photos of all of the El Tesoro dogs and did a little quick write-up of them. And he took all of their headshot photos and printed them and put them up there. And then some of those puppies that have already run through their NAVDA testing, he's got their plaques right there. So it's kind of just like a brag wall of all of the dogs for the El Tesoro program and their accomplishments. And it looks really, really cool. I like seeing that. And then he's got ribbons and things from all of the other dogs that are down there now that are the guide dogs that are master hunters and utility prize dogs. All of that stuff is down there too on display because that's one thing that we really, really like and appreciate about this relationship is the understanding that these dogs are so much more important than just a tool. They're part of our family. They're part of our breeding program. And the relationship that we have with them, they want to come in. They want to meet the dogs. The guests want to meet the dogs. They want the opportunity to see Muddy not out in the field, but back in the kennel and pet on her and love on her. And that's what we really appreciate about the relationship is just the understanding that these dogs are not just tools. They are part of the family. They have personalities, and makes us really happy that that's the relationship we have with the El Tesoro Ranch.
100%.
Okay, taking up enough time, guys, and we want to get to some questions. So let's roll with some questions. Did you see anything yet? I haven't seen any super chats, so I don't think we missed any of those, but Lane's there tonight, so you're sneaking on your phone, Charles. I gotcha.
Say hi to the boss for me. Excuse me, the king of the ranch.
Yep. Ethan's behavior with the pecans is giving Cade energy.
Harness my inner fat kid? Is that what you're saying, Kelly?
Cade is absolutely not fat. He is just in the 92nd percentile for weight at his age.
Hey,
He's a big
boy.
kid. But he is trim. Like, you can see his little ribbies and ab muscles. He's just big. It's crazy. I'm looking for questions, guys. Looking for questions. I don't have my helper here, Charles or Annie, feeding us questions that they've seen. Okay. Trey McDowell said, so how do I convince my wife to let me get a puppy? Just come home with one? Oh, So I will say that for me, anything that I'm super excited about.
She literally just does, without question and without remorse. So, yeah, if you want a puppy,
No,
take a note out of Kat's book. Just go pick it up, whether she wants it or not.
That is not what I was going to say, actually. That is what I do for myself. It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. But I do not want to give that advice to anyone else. What I was going to say is
hopefully your wife's as forgiving and loving as me.
Anticipation is half of the fun. So when you've got anything fun and exciting that you're planning, like a family vacation or a trip or getting a puppy, doing the research together, picking a breed, finding out, what breeders are breeding for the qualities that you want in a puppy, and then even having to wait a year, maybe even 2 for the right puppy to come around, can be half the fun. If you don't have time to think about it, prepare and plan, not only are you going to be missing out on some of the anticipation and the excitement, but also you won't be prepared for bringing that new puppy home. We bring a puppy home all the time, picking one from our own litters, getting one from an outside litter. And so we're constantly in a phase of perpetual puppy. We never get past that. So we are pretty much always prepared whether we want to be or not. This is the
longest gap that we have had in puppyhood in...
ever.
At least 10 years.
I know. It's a long
We're going on 6 months.
So, but try and talk to her about what she would want out of a puppy, and make it a team effort to do the planning and do the choosing and things like that. And also, I will say, once you do pick a breeder and a litter, once you see those puppies, it's really dang hard to say no. Literally, I knew that Autumn was going to be raising this new little cocker puppy, but I hadn't seen a picture of him yet. So I was like, send me a picture of him. I want to see what he looks like before you take him home. And because he had literally just got delivered yesterday and we were in the field hunting. So I was like, well, I haven't even seen him yet. Don't take him home until I get to see him. Send me a picture. She sent me a picture and it was the one that I show you on my phone, guys. So stinking adorable. And I was like, sorry, Autumn, you actually cannot have him. I need to keep him because he's adorable. I said, but only for tonight because I do want the boys to meet him. And they absolutely loved him. And he was so good with the little boys.
That was Aiden's request after school. Can the puppy come play?
I was like, oh, the puppy's with Autumn now, actually. So no, puppy can't play tonight. But they will get over it. And they will get to see all of the puppies. They do get to see all of the puppies when they come to the kennel with all of our team on a very regular basis. So continued socialization on both ends. But so once you see those cute, adorable faces, it is really hard to say no to them, in my opinion.
Did Vale get to go to the ranch? No, because she was in heat and there was an entire truck and trailer full of male dogs.
No, she was down there. No,
she was down there in heat.
Yes, she came with and she hunted. She was in heat, and it was kind of chaotic because it was you couldn't let her out with.
That's right. Yep.
Yes,
she did go to the ranch.
Ethan was like, "We shouldn't bring her." I'm like, "We have to bring her," and he's like, "It's gonna be a pain." But Hazel was also in heat down there, so I was like, "She'll fit right in with one of the other groups of heat girls, so it's fine." Did. But you had to be very careful on who
Iowa,
she was.
Though,
she's in Iowa now after the puppy hunt, but she, and she's out of heat now. But we had to be very careful on who she went out in the let-out yard with because we didn't need any. Bow chicka wow wow.
How was that?
You heard me. I need to go back to more questions.
If you weren't professional dog trainers, workers, breeders, how long would you wait between puppies? 2 to 4 years.
And I would say that number would also depend on what your ultimate goal of ownership is. If you want 2 dogs, I would push that a little bit. So like 3 years, 4 years apart. If you maybe want 3 dogs, maybe 2 years apart.
Yeah, part of it comes down to losing them. So if they're too close together, you lose them both at the same time,
More
roughly.
Closely.
Very close. So it's easier to raise a puppy with a mature dog. So a 4 to 6 year old. Then you get a puppy, and then by that time the dog is 6 to 8 years old. Hopefully your puppy is roughly 2 to 4 years old. It's a pretty good balance in the 4 years to 6 years apart.
Gully Boy Hunt says, "This is going to be my first year upland hunting. I have no access to pigeons. Should I just take my dog out and let his instincts kick in?" So,
how many birds are in your areas?
So that is a factor, but I would also say we have a video on YouTube that talks about like the prerequisites to take your dog hunting, and that's a gunfire introduction, a bird introduction, and collar conditioning. So I would not just randomly take your dog out without those 3 things being accomplished first. We don't want to create any issues or have any unsafe situations, but even if you just can get a few kill pigeons or a chucker or a quail to do an intro with a bird, as well as your gunfire intros, then yes, go take them hunting. A lot of our dogs learn their role on the job, if you will. Take them hunting, and they will learn a lot from that. We try and give them as much opportunities, exposure, experience before we hit the field as possible, because then that on-the-job training is building on their already, understanding and foundation that they do have. So we see bigger progress made where they already understand that their job is to go out, search, find, point birds, and then have them shot and retrieve them for you. If they have all of those prerequisites, and now when they go hunting on wild birds, they're just trying to figure out wild birds and how wild birds work, you're going to get a lot further ahead in your first season. If you have a dog, I don't see it.
I don't either. I text him.
So. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, if you don't do all those prerequisites and preparation, and you've just got a dog that is intro to gunfire, intro to collar conditioning and birds, and you take them out and they're trying to figure out how to point birds, how to retrieve birds, how to mark birds that are shot for them, they have a lot more learning to do while you're hunting. And so you need a lot of birds and you need a lot of opportunities so that they can learn what they're doing out there during the season. If you only have a handful of opportunities that they are going to get into birds, they're not going to learn much that first season, and they're still going to be very green and still need a lot of training and a lot of pieces to be put together in the off season before that they really figure it out. Would you agree? You weren't listening to anything I said. It's fine. I'm right. That's what Ethan said.
No, you are 100% accurate. You need the prerequisites as well to go hunting. Paul Smith, have you read Don't Shoot the Dog? Yes. Wing It. Yawa question. At what point do you switch from puppy food to adult food? My 16-week-old GSP is always hungry. He's like eating a machine, an eating machine. He's wondering if the puppy food just isn't filling him enough. So the question is, what puppy food are you eating?
Or feeding. I mean, I would not recommend eating it. Ethan has tried it as well.
Puppy food are you feeding? How much puppy food is your puppy eating? How often are you feeding your puppy?
Well, that's annoying.
Answer these 3 questions.
Yes, but those are very valid
or
questions.
You shall not pass.
So that you get some general information, we feed Eukanuba premium performance dog food. We feed the Puppy Pro until as close to a year as we absolutely can.
Until they can't hold weight on it.
Yep, and then we typically try and do a mix of 50-50 puppy food and the adult 30-20 formula so that they're still getting all of the ingredients in the puppy food that is really valuable to proper nutrition and development.
They say you can feed it up to 2 years.
And we can't quite make it.
We have never been able to make it much beyond 1 year.
With most of our dogs.
Most of them, yeah.
But we are typically feeding 2 cups of food
especially
in the morning and 2 cups of food in the evening.
Well,
especially by the time you make it to 16 plus weeks, we're usually right around there. In our German Shorthair pointers holding weight.
Especially the dogs that go hunting with me during the guiding season. They work way harder than what I think the average dog food company thinks a puppy is going to or should. And I'm sure there's some people that are going to give me a hard time about working young dogs that much. But it's one of those things that I do believe they regulate well, and we have 10, 12, 14, 16-year-old dogs still getting after it. So I don't know that we've created any issues. There's a lot of variables here. So did the 3 questions get answered? Scroll down.
I don't know. I saw this one.
Okay.
Have faith. Sorry. I'm dyslexic.
Read the
Do you have
bump the license plate.
Yeah, I'm really bad at that. Do you have experience with Vizslas and Weimaraners when hunting? And if so, do you think it would be too late to train a 2-year-old mix of the 2 for hunting? So we do actually have quite a bit of experience training Vizslas and
Weimaraner
mix.
cross. Mm-hmm. Sweet.
So we do work with them when they come in for training.
What does it look like? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I kind of am interested. Is it red and orange like a Vizsla would be, or is it silvery blue like a Weim would be?
Definitely, because both dogs are homozygous solid.
I want to know.
That has to be a solid coated dog. There's absolutely 0 chance
for patching.
So it's got to be a solid dog. But the question
color?
is,
I want to know.
Please
tell us.
Silver or red?
I wish you could post a picture on this. It would be cool if you could
email us real quick or do something.
Send us
a picture. I
picture.
will share the picture via my phone.
But it is definitely not too late to train one that is 2 years old. We've worked with dogs that are 9, 10 years old before. Absolutely not too old. You can always teach an old dog new tricks. It typically might take a little bit longer the older that they get, just because they have a lot of baggage and potentially, bad behaviors that we're working through. But if they have instincts that we're working with, that will definitely help as far as teaching them how to point, find, retrieve, hunt birds. But 2 is not too late, and I think that you would be just fine starting that process. And if you need help starting that process and you're not on Patreon, that would be the place to start from a standpoint of having us help guide you through how to get started, what pieces to fill in on the blanks, especially with an older mixed breed dog like that. We can give you a lot of guidance. So let me scroll back down. I just had seen that they had said, hey, I asked you a question. It was like the first question. So I scrolled back up and now I'm scrolling back down. Oh, congratulations. Brody Kelly said, don't know how relative this is to the topic, but I just had my first litter of puppies. Any tips? So
Very nice.
Congratulations. I know I just mentioned Patreon for somebody that is looking to work their dogs into hunting and train them to be hunting dogs. Patreon is for any questions you have, whether that is obedience training, hunting training, behavioral issues, whelping your first litter, running a training and breeding business. We help people based on our experience in all aspects of things. So Patreon would be a great resource, especially if you have your first litter and you're kind of learning what to do, milestones, things like that. I'm actually in the process, and hopefully in 2024, I will have an entire whelping course available that has all of the resources that I utilize with my litters, from my litter diagrams to my milestones to my mama weight checks, all of the things that I do with every aspect of the litters ready to go for people. But I know that doesn't help you now. I would say any tips, though, we do have a YouTube channel. You absolutely have found that since you're here. And we have a ton of videos on the whelping process, not only whelping the puppies, which you're probably past that because you just had your first litter, but all of the milestones, supplementing if need be, how to start puppy mush, biosensor training, socialization, all of that's in there. It's just kind of a hunt and peck thing because it is YouTube. You can get down a rabbit hole. And so if you need specific help and extra guidance, check us out on Patreon.
Yep.
What age can I start my puppy on the lead leash? Well, we recommend utilizing the easy lead, typically starting close to 5 to 6 months old. You can throw a leash, a check cord, whatever, on your dog earlier than that so they can get used to dragging a leash around. But in no way would I have any expectations of actual healing behavior younger than that. Healing takes a ton of focus because the dog has to stay in a proper healing position for an extended amount of time. That's not something that most dogs younger than that can really do mentally, is have that level of focus and concentration.
Agreed.
Okay. We got time for one more. I'm being Ethan tonight.
Scroll up just a little bit. No, the other up. Scroll down just a little bit.
So down. Scroll down just a little bit. We didn't stop selling the beds that we have for dogs. Sometimes they're out of stock because that has to do with availability and distribution from the manufacturer. But we still have the Cranda dog beds for sale and the slip covers.
Here's one. It's a tough one. Any pointers on helping a pup get over car sickness? So car sickness sucks. Oh, we got a bingo. Go look at it.
I don't know how to find that. This one?
Far right. That one.
That one? That one?
Nope.
I absolutely rolled my eyes at you probably like 50 times.
Yeah, but that's not the first person that said bingo. So they have names underneath of them.
Sorry. I didn't. We just requested people to have names because that makes our life a lot easier.
I'll help.
Okay.
I only see one.
So
what is it? Wait a second. Brian Gaddy. What name did you put on your card, or what is your card number? What do we have a false alarm twice in a row?
He's right up there.
Yeah, you don't. What are we doing here?
Yeah, across. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Ah, I see it. Yeah. Did we?
Yep,
Yeah.
that one.
Huh?
But and then the other one. So
we got 2.
Timing. Who got it first?
Say hello to my little friend. There's a bingo. Oh, don't do that. Got it, Brian. You got a bingo. Then somebody else had a bingo. Did they say bingo in here? Or is it Brian? Brian is the bingo winner? What's the email? Contact at Standing Stone Kennels is perfect. Did you send the email confirming your bingo? We have a bingo. There's a bingo. Here's a bingo. There's a bingo. Everyone a bingo, bingo. I see it, Brian. Bingo, bingo. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Where is, let's see here. Reopen it. What's wrong with you? And I'm waiting on a picture of a Vizsla Weimaraner cross. And Brian, you got a bingo. You need to send me a message on Patreon, and I'll get you a link to be able, or a discount code basically, to order the dog bed for Freezy. Because you're a real rock and roller. Let's see here. We have one.
Oh.
I think 2, but we have Brian was the first one, so.
Okay, got it.
And then a false bingo. Oh no, we don't box bingo here. Come on, Joe. I don't even know what that is, bud. Sorry. So car sickness. Let's get to that real quick.
Yep.
Brian is our winner. Please send me a message on Patreon. Now, as far as the
car sickness goes,
aspect of things goes, it's a goofy thing, it's a tricky thing, and it takes a lot of time / not fixable.
There's a lot of aspects that go into car sickness. One, it can be genetically predisposed to be car sick. If the parents were car sick, one of the parents was car sick, you're going to be fighting.
Thought about potentially one day being car sick.
You're going to have a little bit of an uphill battle to fight to get past that. Now, if they've had a little bit of car sickness, it's not the end of the world. You can probably work past it. Couple of things that we like to recommend. 1, crate your dog if you don't while they're in the vehicle. 2, do not feed them right before you go on a car ride. 3, give them something to focus on and chew on that is enjoyable, but not overly edible. We don't want them filling their tummy with an easy-to-eat chew treat or something, and then bleh. We want them to have something that they can work on and focus on, like a Pet Stages wood chew or a antler, something that is going to entice them to chew and work on it and keep swallowing, because what happens a lot of times is those dogs go, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. This is really weird. I don't really know what's going on. I can't think of anything else, but this is weird. And then they are not swallowing. They're getting an abundance of saliva built up in their mouth, and they're like, what do I do with this saliva? Bleh. So if you can give them something to gnaw on and chew on and actively... Non-edible, that's what I've said, like 5 times.
I'm looking for the picture.
Then they can end up chewing on it, but swallowing and helping that saliva go down. I don't know if you guys have ever felt nauseous, and if you have never vomited, that's a miracle, and you should probably write it down because I need to know about it. But a lot of times your mouth starts watering like crazy, so getting them to swallow will help try and have that nausea pass. So those are some tips and tricks to help get dogs over that car sickness, as well as more frequent short car rides. If your puppy only goes on a car ride once every 6 weeks, once every couple months, it's not something that they're going to become conditioned to, and they're not going to get over the car sickness because they're like, oh, I never have to deal with this, and oh my gosh, now we're having a car ride again. So short, easy rides, not racing around, being crazy, going over all the bumps, twists, and turns, but just a nice, easy drive down to the gas station and back. Throw your puppy in, whether you have to go just to the gas station, to the grocery store, the post office, just those short little trips is going to really be helpful. That's something that we do with our puppies when we keep puppies is anytime I have to run to town, I'm like, okay, guys, you're going to ride to town with me. And I throw them in the back of the car in a crate and they go to town and then they come back. It's patched and ticked, isn't it?
Nope.
It's red and silver. It's silver red.
Nope.
What is it? It's black. It's golden. It's a unicorn. What is it? Show me.
Well, a couple things. First of all, I was right. It is solid.
Green. Silver and red make green?
How did you know?
It was a guess. I guessed like everything.
Solid liver.
Oh.
How did liver come out of gray and red? We don't know, but it did.
It's so cute.
It's because it's
so
a
cute.
recessive color, so it can be there.
Cool. But
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you for sending that. I'm really glad to know because I like genetics and how things work.
And I've been harassing the Vizsla people for years and years to make red ticked short hairs with me. They say no.
We'll get them one of these days, just for an experiment.
Nah.
But back to the car rides. So we throw our little puppies in a crate in the back of the car, ride to town with us, run a few errands. Every time I stop somewhere, puppy comes out, gets an opportunity to go potty on leash. We're working on a whole bunch of socialization behaviors, car rides, leash potties, and just being patient in crate time and crate training because, hey, you're going to go back in your crate now, and then I'm going to run in and get some groceries. Then I'm going to run home.
Correct.
You're going to go potty. Going to go back in your crate for a little bit. So we're working on a lot of things, and it really helps them become more accustomed to car rides, short car rides, longer car rides, whatever you got to do. But they come along with us, and we just, if they have to be in the car, we just leave the car running. It's just an easy peasy lemon squeezy thing we do with the puppies.
Absolutely.
So, guys, that's all the time we have questions for. Glad we got a bingo and a prize to give out this evening since we won't see you before Christmas. This is your Christmas present. Yep, we have plans next week to take the boys to the zoo and the aquarium in Phoenix because that's something that we wanted to do for them over winter break this year. So want to do more experiences than things so that we can make memories.
I love it. Thanks, everybody, for joining us this evening, giving us your time, sharing your time with us. We love it. We enjoy doing this, and we'd like to be able to do it more often. But
Schedules,
once a month is kind of where we're at right now. We will try. And outside of that, folks, I'm the guy with the pink gun.
I'm Kat, the dog trainer.
We'll see you in the